So there's a new rule that would allow true redshirt freshmen to play maximum of 4 games without losing their entire redshirt, burning it, and losing a year of eligibility. Now, this would be great. Now, according to Fox Sports' Stuart Mandel, a new rule is being proposed to the NCAA by the American Football Coaches Association that, if passed, would allow players to play up to 4 games during a season without burning their red shirt. And this would be huge. You just think back, look at Ole Miss. They had their quarterback, Shea Patterson. They used him for just 3 games. Did really well. Probably should have been their starting quarterback. But again, they wanted to sit him, give him some time. He ends up doing really well, but only playing 3 games, and he already burned his redshirt year. So now he will be a sophomore next year, not a redshirt freshman. Now, following the AFCA's board meetings last week in Phoenix, there was some talking, of course, with McCaffrey and Fournette sitting out. They made headlines. Players shutting down before a lower-level bowl game is not an uncommon thing. Apparently, that there's some players that will magically have an injury right before the bowl game and they wouldn't play. So just imagine one of your team's favorite or more intriguing recruits having to sit out, but now is able to play possibly the last 4 games of the year, including the bowl game. Give him a little bit of time, see what he could do, and not burning his entire redshirt year. As it stands, a player burns his redshirt the second he steps onto that field. The exact second. And he can only get it back if he suffers a season-ending injury before he plays 4 games. So that would have to happen, and that's, we don't want that. Now, there's a lot of head coaches that are in favor of this, including West Virginia head coach Dana Holgorsen. He said during last week's Big 12 meetings that not only is he in support of this, he had a very interesting take. Quote, "If you think the kid is ready to play and he goes out there in September, but he's scared to death and goes out there, plays 2 series and blanks down his pants, now you're stuck with him and the kid's screwed. He may not play the rest of the year and he's burned that year," end quote. Now, this rule would also do away with the need for a player to apply for a medical red shirt. Now, as it stands, a player, they could get up to 7 years in eligibility with the medical red shirts, including the red shirt year. Now, the player could receive a medical red shirt if he completed in fewer than 30% of his games in a season, or 3 games, whichever is greater. Now, they wouldn't have to do this. They wouldn't have to apply. It could just somewhat happen, which is good because medical red shirts are definitely needed for several athletes throughout the year. Now, the newly formed Division I football competition committee could get this started pretty soon. They're going to talk about the proposed rule in the upcoming May 16th meetings. If everyone is in agreement, which should happen, then the proposal gets forwarded to the Division I's Football Oversight Committee, which is headed by the Big 12 Commissioner Bob Bowsley, and they'll discuss it, approve it, and 2018 would be the fastest year we could have it done. And that rule into effect. I hope this happens. I'm sure you would be in agreement with this because it would allow so many possibilities, and maybe we see more red shirts happening this way because it's like, well, he's good enough, but let's let him sit out, and then we could just play him in a couple games here and there. It could be first game of the year against, when they're playing some FCS opponent. Let him get some playing time. Let him get some, the juices going. Sit him out a couple weeks. You have a big game. Get him ready. Throw him in there if needed. Special teams or whatever. And then obviously you could also have him in the bowl game and let that be his way of preparing for the next season. And again, 4 games without having to burn a red shirt. It's perfect. Hopefully this happens.